To some, being in the history books is enough, but there are also some historical figures who might be livid for how they're being remembered or underappreciated today. Hey there, welcome to Eventful Insights. In today's video, we'll be talking about 12 historical figures overshadowed by history's narrative. This list of people have either been misrepresented, had their stories exaggerated, or had their feats undervalued. But before we get started, who's a historical figure that you think people should appreciate more? Let us know in the comment section below. Now let's get started, shall we? First on our list would have to be Cleopatra. People often make Cleopatra's connections with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony seem simple, suggesting she was just a tool in their plans. But she was smart and good at politics and talking with others. She used these relationships to make Egypt stronger and keep it safe. Some people focus too much on her romantic side, saying she was really good at seducing others. But they don't always see how smart and strategic she was. Cleopatra's memory is often twisted by Roman stories and the views of old Roman historians like Plutarch, who described her as a heartless woman who tempted others. Do you think the media should improve their portrayal of Cleopatra so it could be set straight with the general population? Second on our list would be Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter is often remembered as an ineffective president, facing economic instability, international setbacks, military unpreparedness, and a lack of clear direction during his time in office. He addressed these challenges in a televised speech on July 15, 1979, amidst a severe energy crisis, attributing the nation's problems not to a lack of leadership, but to a crisis of confidence among the American people. While the speech, often labeled the Malaise speech, did not directly use the term malaise, it was perceived as shifting blame onto the public. Despite being generally well-received at the time, it contributed to Carter's image as an ineffective leader, particularly after it was politicized by opponents, including Democratic supporters of Ted Kennedy. Next on our list, we have the notorious Henry VIII. King Henry VIII is often remembered for his many marriages and extravagant lifestyle, portraying him as a selfish ruler solely focused on personal indulgence. He is depicted as overweight, excessively drinking, and surrounded by a court that catered to his every whim. Additionally, his defiance against the Catholic Church's refusal to annul his marriage to Catherine of Aragon led to the English Reformation and the establishment of the British monarch as head of the Church of England. However, this portrayal overlooks Henry's significant contributions to England's future. Despite his physical decline, Henry had a strategic vision for the nation. He expanded the Royal Navy, laying the groundwork for its dominance and safeguarding England's trade routes for centuries. Henry's naval advancements paved the way for the British Empire, shaping world history in profound ways. Our fourth historical figure on our list would be Christopher Columbus. The heroic portrayal of Christopher Columbus in films presents him as a charming figure, glossing over the controversies and violence associated with his expeditions. These movies often depict Columbus as treating native populations kindly, despite historical evidence of forced labor and enslavement. His motivations are simplified to exploration alone, disregarding the economic and political factors behind his voyages. Moreover, the films exaggerate his ability to secure funding, overlooking the challenges and rejections he faced from various nations. Overall, cinematic depictions of Columbus tend to sacrifice historical accuracy, failing to capture the complexity of his character and actions. And now we hop onto the fifth historical figure, which is Franklin D. Roosevelt. Roosevelt is credited with numerous achievements, including the repeal of prohibition, the establishment of the United Nations, and the creation of significant social and financial programs like Social Security and the Securities and Exchange Commission. Despite being confined to a wheelchair due to paralysis believed to be caused by polio, Roosevelt remained a resilient figure. He not only battled his own illness, but also founded the National Foundation for Infantile Paralysis, later known as the March of Dimes, to combat polio and support medical research. This initiative contributed to the development of vaccines by scientists like Sabin and Salk. The redesign of the American dime in 1946, featuring Roosevelt's image, was a tribute to his efforts in the fight against polio. Now, halfway into our list, we have Abraham Lincoln. The renowned president was an inventor, after all. Abraham Lincoln, during his youth, worked as a hired hand on flatboats and steamboats, gaining first-hand experience of the challenges of river navigation. His interest in finding solutions to river obstacles grew after a boat he was on got stuck on a shoal. Despite lacking an engineering background, Lincoln conceived a design using inflatable flotation to lift boats over such obstructions. With the help of a Springfield artisan, he constructed a working model and obtained a patent for his invention, titled Buoying Vessels Over Shoals, during his first term in Congress. We already tackled a lot in such a short time, but before we head on to the next 6 more figures on our list, let me ask you a question. Who do you think is the most impressive historical figure? Share us your thoughts in the comments below. Now, going back with our list, our 7th is none other than Neville Chamberlain. In the years leading up to the invasion of Poland in 1939, Adolf Hitler took several steps to revise what he perceived as the harsh terms of the Versailles Treaty. Despite opportunities for intervention, the British government hesitated due to the lingering effects of the Great Depression and its lack of military preparedness. Prime Minister Chamberlain pursued negotiation and attempted to strengthen ties with Italy to weaken its alliance with Germany. His policy of appeasement, driven by a desire to avoid another European war, was met with criticism. When Hitler invaded Poland in 1939, Chamberlain placed blame squarely on Hitler and urged Britain to honor its commitments to the Poles. Now, next on our list is Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon strategically crafted a heroic image of himself, enhancing his popularity and garnering support. Films and media often exaggerate his military victories, neglecting their full context and consequences. His personal flaws, such as arrogance and autocratic tendencies, are frequently downplayed. Additionally, misconceptions surround his marital relationships and linguistic portrayal in movies, where he is often depicted speaking English despite being French. Historical inaccuracies, including fabricated scenes, are evident in films like Ridley Scott's Napoleon. Finally, 9th on our list would be Cardinal Richelieu. Richelieu's portrayal often misconstrues his role, emphasizing his religiosity over his political acumen. He is sometimes depicted as a Machiavellian manipulator solely driven by personal ambition, overlooking his broader goals of strengthening French power and government reform. Despite his association with the Catholic League, Richelieu pursued alliances with Protestant nations, reflecting a pragmatic foreign policy approach. While credited with establishing absolute monarchy, his aim was to bolster royal authority against the aristocracy and church. Contrary to some portrayals, Richelieu did not uniformly support the Gallican movement but opposed extreme Gallicanists, aiming to maintain unity in Christendom. Despite accusations of suppressing dissent, Richelieu demonstrated tolerance towards moderate Huguenots and encouraged freedom of speech among his supporters. Now, of course, Amelia Earhart would be on this list. Amelia Earhart, renowned as a trailblazing aviatrix, captured global admiration with her pioneering feats in aviation. Despite being the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic, her flight from Newfoundland to Ireland was shorter than Charles Lindbergh's iconic journey 5 years prior. Nevertheless, her celebrity status was solidified by this accomplishment, furthering her international fame. In addition to her aviation exploits, Earhart advocated for feminism, emphasizing equal partnership in her marriage to George Putnam, and retaining her maiden name. However, her disappearance during her around-the-world flight in 1937 has overshadowed her feminist advocacy, leaving a lasting mystery that continues to intrigue people up to this day. If she had completed her journey or been rescued, she would likely be remembered not only for her flying achievements, but also for her progressive views on gender equality. 11th on our list would have to be John Montagu. At the age of 10, John Montagu inherited the title of Earl of Sandwich in 1729, beginning a notable military and political career marked by distinguished service in various governments. As First Lord of the Admiralty, he oversaw the Royal Navy's reconstruction and introduced innovations such as coppering ship hulls to enhance speed and durability. Although famed for these contributions, he is popularly remembered as the supposed inventor of the sandwich, a claim supported by anecdotes of him enjoying this meal while gambling or working at his desk. Despite the unlikelihood of being the first to eat meat between bread slices, Montagu's association with the sandwich has persisted, cementing his place in culinary history. Finally, last on our list would be Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc's portrayal is frequently distorted by sexualization, despite evidence of her devout religious beliefs and chastity. Additionally, she is often depicted as feminine in art and literature, despite historical accounts indicating her preference for presenting as a man and wearing male attire. Furthermore, her multifaceted personality and motivations are often oversimplified, reducing her to a symbol of French nationalism. While she is revered as a saintly figure, her humanity, including her flaws and limitations, is often overlooked. Moreover, modern interpretations sometimes misgender Joan of Arc, disregarding her own self-identification as a man in the context of her historical era. While these figures are celebrated for their achievements, their legacies are often clouded by misconceptions, oversimplifications, and misinterpretations. By critically examining and contextualizing these depictions, we can gain a deeper understanding of their true significance and contributions to history. Well, that is all for today's video. If you liked our historical discussion today, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and click that notification bell to get notified on our next video. Thanks for watching.